56 is our current temperature here at 93.5, 1590 WAKR. And let's go to the movies. It's time to go to film school with film study professor Fortunato. Joe is going to take us to the late 1980s, one of the bigger movies of that area, and maybe one of the best movies by producer Rob Reiner. Joe, The Princess Bride.
That's right, Ray. The Princess Bride from 1987. We're celebrating its 35th anniversary this week, if you can believe it. It was released on September 25th, 1987. As you mentioned, it was directed by Rob Reiner. It was written by William Goldman based on his book that he had written in the early 70s. Stars Cary Elwes, Mandy Patinkin, Robin Wright, and the great Andre the Giant. It was shot on a very modest budget of $16 million, and it grossed $30 million. So it doubled its money, but $30 million is not that big of a gross. So this was not a huge movie at the time. It's really a movie that's grown in stature over the years to become one of the most beloved movies of its kind. And I don't even know what kind of movie it is. Is it a comedy? Is it a romance? Is it a fantasy? It's all of these things. But all I know is that it's really gained in popularity over the years. And in fact, in 2016, it was inducted into the National Film Registry, which deems films culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. So that's a pretty nice list to be on. And the film actually tested better than every other movie of that year, other than Back to the Future, which, of course, is legendary. But there was some bitterness on writer William Goldman's part because it didn't make more money. He blames the studio for not knowing how to sell it, which is possible, like I said, given that it covers quite a lot of bases. But it's a fun movie. When I kind of teased this movie to my people on Facebook, everyone went crazy, and they said, "Oh, we love that movie," and they quoted and everything. In fact, some of the quotes, "As you wish" is said 7 times in the film. "Inconceivable" is said 5 times. And the most famous line, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepared to die," is said 6 times. Mandy Patinkin says that this is his favorite role of his entire career, and that he gets people saying that line to him pretty much every day. Andre the Giant has mentioned, well, of course he's passed, but he mentioned that this was one of his favorite things about making this movie was that nobody looked at him. They treated him as an equal without people staring at him because of his size. And Robin Wright and Cary Elwes, the 2 stars of the film, were actually smitten with each other in real life, which helped their chemistry in the movie, but they couldn't concentrate on anything after their first encounter, and they kind of had a little quiet love affair during the film.
Joe, Rob Reiner wanted to do this movie. Maybe you can talk about that passion ever since, and you mentioned the book. He got the book, and he says, "I got to do this movie at some point." And originally, a lot of studios were kind of rejecting the doggone thing. Reiner stayed with it, and I don't know how you would put it up there, but certainly one of his better pieces of work.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to do this film. In fact, he first read the book when he was starring in All in the Family as, of course, Meathead. And his dad, Carl Reiner, was friends with writer William Goldman. And he thought, hey, Rob might like this book. And that's when he first discovered it. It took a number of years to get made. One of the fun facts about that delay is that when they were first trying to get the movie made in the 70s, it was a then unknown Arnold Schwarzenegger who wanted to play Fezzik, which is the role that went to Andre the Giant. So he was being considered, but he could never get the movie made. So by the time they were ready to get the movie made, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a huge star and way too expensive, so they ended up getting Andre the Giant for the film. Some other fun casting things. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was actually offered the role of Fezzik and wanted to do it, but he was unable because it conflicted with his NBA schedule. Liam Neeson had auditioned for that role, and when Rob Reiner heard that Liam Neeson was auditioning, he kind of scoffed that his height was only 6'4". He wasn't physically imposing enough to play Fezzik. Some other people for other roles: Uma Thurman, Courtney Cox, Meg Ryan, all auditioned for the role of Princess Buttercup. Christopher Reeve was considered for the role of Wesley. So that, there's a lot of casting there, and I know we like to talk about casting. Rob Reiner himself, Billy Crystal was in the film. We didn't mention that. Mm-hmm. But Rob Reiner couldn't stop laughing at Billy Crystal's scenes, so much so that he had to leave the set because he was ruining every take.
Hey, Peter Falk as the narrator is pretty good. That's one of my favorite parts of it. Yeah,
Peter Falk is the narrator, he sort of has that wraparound film. For those who aren't familiar with the mm-hmm. film, it's basically when a young boy is homesick in bed, his grandfather, played by Peter Falk, reads him this story of this farm boy turned pirate, and they encounter all these obstacles and stuff, and he's reunited with his true love, and that's at the end. At the beginning, the young boy is kind of, I don't know, this is a dumb story. I'm too old for this. And as it goes on, he kind of gets into it. And by the end of the film, a very sweet moment, he says, "Hey, Grandpa, can you come again tomorrow?" And Peter Falk says, "As you wish," which is one of the key lines in the film.
The Princess Bride. Anything else we're missing, Joe, that you wanted to touch on?
I think we covered most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. One thing that was sort of interesting about Andre the Giant is that despite his, imposing size and the character of Fezzik's superhuman strength, Andre the Giant actually had back trouble. So it kind of prevented him from lifting things heavy. He was supposed to carry Robin Wright and throw things and stuff like that. So they actually had to, attach her to wires and stuff to support her when Fezzik is holding her. So, Andre the Giant had to use some special effects to be Fezzik the superhuman strength.
I love that. Hey, Joe, and Joe Fortunato is with us. Of course, we go to film school with Joe on Fridays, film study professor. My friend, before I let you go, just to let you folks know, Joe got up early to be with us this morning because he was at the Browns game over the Steelers last night, a late night, early morning for Joe, but it was worth it for those Browns, huh?
I was right there in the dog pound. It was a great win.
I saw you were there. I saw your post last night. How loud was that stadium last night, Joe?
It was pretty loud. I have some friends who live in the flats, and they said they could hear the stadium from their place in the flats.
Well done. All right, Joe, good job this morning with The Princess Bride. You can listen to that all over again at WAKR.net, WAKR.net. Joe Fortunato takes us to film school on Fridays. We'll do it again next week. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Ray. I'll see you next week.
You got it. Joe Fortunato, film study professor, joins us Fridays on the Ray Horner Morning Show, 93.5, 1590 WAKR.